The first whisper of rain. Do you remember that deep, soft sigh of a moment? The one right before everything changes, but not with a shock, only with a settling? Lie back now and let that memory gently fold itself around you like a favorite worn blanket. We were there, weren't we? In that great hush-filled space, the kind of room built not just for knowledge but for quiet reverence. Above us, the huge expanse of the glass ceiling seemed to hold its breath, a vast, clear sheet, waiting for instruction. The light was fading, not suddenly, but with the slow amber drift of a late afternoon that knows exactly where it's going. There was that unique library silence, heavy and warm, filled only with the faint rhythmic thump of an old heating vent or the nearly silent rustle of someone turning a page 3 aisles away. And then, did you hear it? It began not with a splash, but with an inquiry. A single crystalline droplet, hesitant and perfect, making contact with the glass directly above where we were sitting. It was so distinct against the deep silence, like a tiny bell sounding once, and then vanishing, and then another, further away, a little tap. It was the sound of the world outside beginning to whisper a secret directly to the architecture around us. The sensation was immediate and deeply comforting. It wasn't the violent rush of a storm, but the slow, meticulous arrival of something gentle and persistent. It felt as if the atmosphere itself was letting out a long, quiet breath, and each bead of moisture was a soft word settling onto the glass. The light filtering through the ceiling changed too. Where it had been a sharp, defined square of dusty gold, it now began to blur, softening the edges of the room, turning the precise angles of the window frames into something hazy and forgiving. In that quiet chamber, didn't you feel a deep, delicious sense of being given permission? Permission to slow down, to release the tension you didn't even realize you were holding, because the rain was taking over the narrative. It asked nothing of us except to listen to its gentle rhythm, its unhurried pace. I remember watching the first delicate tracks begin to form on the glass. They were like the tiny, silver trails of luminous snails meandering down the pane, each path catching the last of the fading light before being erased and replaced by the next drop. The taps grew closer together now, not yet a flood, but a consistent, gentle conversation, a steady patter, patter, patter that told us, in the calmest possible terms, "You are safe here. You are enclosed. The effort of the day is over." There is a profound beauty in a sound that is both continuous and utterly simple. It doesn't ask for thought, it asks for sensation. It becomes the soft, neutral backdrop against which your mind can finally stop fighting and begin to float. Feel that transition now, my friend. Feel the crisp edges of your wakefulness dissolving into the soft, aqueous sound. This is only the beginning, the quiet invitation. Just listen to that first, hesitant whisper turn into a steady, reliable comfort. The sound of the glass ocean. Close your eyes now and let that initial tapping fade slightly into a richer, more encompassing sound. Did you notice how quickly the hesitant drops surrendered their individuality, merging into one smooth, rolling presence? It's a remarkable transformation, the way many small things become one great unifying comfort. The ceiling above us was no longer just a collection of glass panes. It had become an entire, gentle ocean surface. It wasn't the tumultuous, roaring sea of the shore, but the deep, soothing sound of the open water when you are far, far away from the land, a vast, rhythmic wash that seems to breathe in time with the earth itself. Listen closely. It's a sound that seems to press softly down on the whole, building, yet in doing so, it creates an immense pocket of quiet right where we are. Imagine you are deep inside an overturned, perfectly smooth seashell, and the sound you are hearing is the muffled, persistent memory of the sea. That's what the library felt like beneath that steady curtain of rain. The sound was no longer patter-patter. It had become a steady, delicious shh, whoosh, a continuous liquid soundscape that filled every corner of the vast room without ever feeling loud. Do you remember how the streetlights, those harsh yellow beacons of the late evening, looked when the water began to run consistently across the glass? They didn't shine anymore. They bloomed. They became soft, shimmering halos of fuzzy, uncertain color, distorting and lengthening with every rivulet that streamed down the glass. We were looking up at a ceiling made entirely of moving water and blurred light, a living kaleidoscope that moved to the rhythm of this glass ocean above. There is a profound sense of safety in this sound, isn't there? It's the sound of separation. The rhythmic washing tells you that the whole world outside is being cleaned, softened, and kept safely at a distance. Inside, beneath the steady drum of that water, there are no emergencies, no deadlines, and no sharp edges. Only the endless hypnotic repetition of the rain doing its simple, enduring work. When you listen to a rhythm this steady, this deep, your own internal rhythms can't help but attempt to match it. Your breathing slows down, becoming longer, steadier. Your heartbeat softens its urgency. It is as if the great glass ocean above is whispering an ancient lullaby, teaching your body how to be heavy and still again. Take a long, slow breath now and let the sound pull the anchor of your thoughts up from the seabed. You don't need to hold on to them. They are just tiny, bright fish that can swim away and vanish into the depths. All you need to feel is the steady, gentle weight of the water music, pressing you deeper into the quiet comfort of your own space. Let the sound be your gentle anchor, pulling you into the deep, dark calm. It is only water, yet it feels like the kindest of shields. The scent of old paper and petrichor. Now, let's allow the other senses to join the deep calm of the sound. If the rain is the music, the scent is the invisible, comforting texture of the room itself. Settle deeper and breathe in slowly, feeling the air fill your lungs completely. Do you recall that specific fragrance of the great quiet library? It is a complex, patient perfume. It is the deep, slightly sweet aroma of cellulose and time, the scent of millions of pages patiently waiting, their ink slowly mellowing over decades. It smells faintly of dry dust, aged wood polish from the high shelves, and the ghost of old leather bindings. It is the scent of deep history and warm stillness. But tonight, that indoor scent was touched by something raw and freshly awakened. As the rain continued its gentle performance on the glass ceiling, a faint, cool draft began to find its way through the ventilation and the old window seams, carrying with it the outdoor world's purest offering, petrichor, that wonderful, unmistakable smell of rain hitting the dry earth, a clean, earthy, mineral fragrance that seems to scrub the air itself. It was the most beautiful, subtle blending of two worlds. The enclosed human world of quiet contemplation and the wide, wild, elemental world of water and soil. The scent of old, warm paper mingled with the sharp, clean coolness of the rain's breath. It was as if the library was taking a deep, refreshing sigh. Feel that scent now if you can. It's so grounding, isn't it? The paper scent anchors you to the cozy interior, assuring you of the soft light and the warm, dry air you are resting in. And the petrichor, it reminds you of the deep, cyclical nature of the world outside, the earth being nourished, everything receiving what it needs. This mixing of aromas creates a kind of sensory nest. It's the feeling of being utterly protected from the dampness, while still enjoying the exquisite, clean atmosphere it creates. The air feels heavier now, softer, and incredibly easy to breathe. When the air itself feels so clean and mellow, doesn't the mind find it easier to clear its own static? Imagine that every deep breath you take carries away a small speck of worry, a tiny piece of mental dust, just as the rain is washing the ceiling clean. Inhale the stillness, exhale the chatter. The paper and the rain together create a silent contract, Here, you are safe to simply exist. Let the fragrance pull you deeper into a state of quiet acceptance. The old, sleeping stories, the gentle breath of the rain, the sense of being perfectly suspended between inside and outside. It is a profoundly human and comforting smell, a soft reminder that even when things are changing quickly outside, a deep, nourishing stillness remains right here, right now. Shelves of silent stories. Shift your attention now, away from the glass ocean above, and let your eyes softly drift toward the high, dark walls surrounding us. The rain continues its steady, comforting work, but inside this room, we are surrounded by company. Quiet company, indeed. Think of the vast number of stories sleeping soundly on those shelves, stretching up into the dim corners of the library. Each book holds an entire world, a drama, a discovery, a history, a heart, all resting, patiently awaiting the moment of its reawakening. When we sit here, enclosed by the rain, we are nestled in the silent, collective consciousness of all those narratives. Isn't that a profoundly calming thought? That you are sharing space with millions of thoughts and feelings, yet they ask nothing of you. They don't need to be read right now. They don't need to be judged or rushed. They are simply waiting. They are the quietest kind of companions, deeply understanding but requiring no conversation. The sound of the rain becomes the perfect, non-intrusive score for this mental landscape. It's too steady, too rhythmic, too liquid to distract the mind. Instead, it seems to give volume to the silence of the books. It turns the entire space into a kind of vast, dark velvet box, cushioned by the hushed weight of all that unread wisdom. Perhaps one of those stories on the highest shelf is about a long, rainy night just like this one. Perhaps another tells of a traveler resting safely inside a stone chamber. All of them, in their silent state, are confirming a universal truth, that there are moments when all we need to do is pause, feel the quiet dignity of the paper and the ink surrounding you. This is a place where hurried thoughts cannot thrive. The sound of the glass ocean is a gentle filter, catching all the urgency and chaos of the outside world and transforming it into something beautiful and monotonous. When you allow your gaze to soften in the dim light, the towering shelves begin to blur, losing their hard edges. They become dark, reassuring rectangles, guardians of the stillness. And you are perfectly safe, suspended in the gentle tension between the sound of the rain and the silence of the waiting words. Allow the thought of all those silent stories to be a cozy reassurance. You are not alone in this stillness. You are surrounded by the patience of time and the quiet breath of human experience. You don't need to write a new chapter right now or even read one. Just rest in the middle of all the resting stories. Let yourself sink deeper, finding comfort in the deep, quiet knowledge that surrounds you. The light of the blurred world. Let's lift our gaze back to the glass ceiling, not focusing on the sound this time, but on the silent visual symphony playing above us. It's important to remember that when the world is wet, it cannot be sharp. Everything softens, everything bends, everything becomes more forgiving. The rain isn't just a sound, it is a profound filter. Look up and watch the tiny, persistent rivulets tracing their way down the panes. They are like fleeting silver handwriting on the ceiling of the night. Each one catches the diffused light from the street lamps outside, stretching those pinpricks of light into long golden or yellow streaks. Didn't it feel like looking at a masterpiece that was constantly being painted and erased? The sharp architecture of the surrounding city, the angular buildings, the precise lines of cars, the glare of the traffic lights, all of it was being wonderfully dissolved into abstraction. Everything outside became soft, blurry, and strangely distant. This visual experience is deeply relaxing because it takes away the need for definition. We spend so much of our waking life trying to define things, label things, and see things clearly. But the rain-streaked glass grants us a pause from that effort. It shows us the world as an impressionist painting, muted colors, fuzzy boundaries, and movement that is fluid and gentle. The streetlights, which can feel so aggressive on a dry night, become gentle, fuzzy moons. They seem to bloom through the moisture, turning into beautiful, indistinct halos of color. It is a visual cue that tells your brain, you don't need to focus. You don't need clarity right now. You can let your eyes soften and wander. In fact, the more you relax your focus, the more beautiful the blurred world becomes. The running water acts like tears welling up in your eyes, but these are tears of pure stillness, turning the outside world into a comforting moving light show. We are inside a warm, dry pocket, watching the rush and noise of the city transformed into slow-moving, luminous streaks above us. It's the purest kind of peaceful surveillance. We are observers, completely untouched, simply enjoying the soft, beautiful distortion. Let your own focus dissolve now, just like those harsh lights. Allow your thoughts to become as soft and indistinct as the blurry yellow halos against the darkness. This is the visual language of the beginning of a deep, beautiful sleep. Just water, just light, just the slow surrender to softness. The rhythm of deep sleep. Now, let's turn our attention entirely inward, using the sound above us as a gentle, natural guide. The rain on the glass ceiling has settled into its deepest, most reliable flow. It's no longer just background noise. It is the fundamental rhythm of this moment. Listen to the consistent, unbroken cadence of the water. It is a slow, steady pulse, an endless recurrence that requires no beginning and no end. If you could measure time only by this sound, you would realize that urgency simply ceases to exist. There is only now flowing into the next now, seamlessly and without effort. This is the sound that speaks directly to the subconscious parts of your mind, the parts that control your deepest rest. The rhythmic repetition is a primal signal, a hypnotic loop that encourages your body's systems to harmonize with its simplicity. Try this gently. Let your breath lengthen slightly, deepening into your lungs, and then match the slow, continuous hush of the rain. Breathe in as the sound swells slightly, and breathe out as it settles. You don't have to force it. Just allow your own inhale and exhale to become partners with the external sound. Do you feel how the rain is acting like a universal metronome, but one made of soft water and light? It is slowly, patiently guiding your mind away from the quick, choppy rhythms of your day and into the long, slow, undulating rhythm required for true, restorative sleep. In deep sleep, our bodies become very heavy, surrendering completely to the pull of gravity. In this moment, the sound of the rain is doing the same thing to your consciousness. It is a comforting weight, pressing down softly, helping your thoughts and worries sink slowly, slowly, down toward the bottom of the lake of your mind, where they become still and quiet. Imagine that every drop hitting the glass is gently dissolving a tiny knot of tension somewhere in your body, in your shoulders, behind your eyes, in the clench of your jaw. Drip, release, drip, sink. This is not a time for listening to words or following instructions. It is a time for simply feeling the rhythm. Let the sound become synonymous with the feeling of surrender, of letting go. There is nothing to hold on to now except the steady, soothing sound of the water. Let it carry you down into the deepest, warmest part of your restful night. A cabin of comfort, separated. Rest now and feel the boundaries of our space. We are enclosed, deeply nestled within the warm, still heart of the library, and yet, paradoxically, we are also surrounded by the elements. It's a wonderful kind of separation. Imagine this quiet corner beneath the glass ceiling, not as a large public room, but as a small, wonderfully sturdy cabin built entirely for comfort. The glass roof is simply the thin, clear membrane separating our cozy interior from the great liquid vastness of the outside world. There is profound peace in feeling protected. We can hear the wind rise and fall faintly, and we can hear the water washing over the glass, sometimes rushing in a momentary cascade, sometimes just a steady drizzle. But we are utterly dry, warm, and undisturbed. This sensory contrast, the storm outside, the stillness within, magnifies the feeling of safety 1,000 times over. Don't you feel that sense of profound, personal privacy? The rain on the glass creates a natural sound barrier, muffling the distant noises of the street. Sirens, horns, hurried footsteps. Everything that suggests rush or obligation is filtered out, leaving only the soft, reliable drumming. We are in a velvet box, a soft, illuminated pocket, completely insulated from the demands of time and the concerns of others. Take a moment to truly appreciate this feeling of enclosure. We are not hiding from the world, but simply taking a gentle, necessary pause within it. It's like being wrapped in a thick, sound-dampening cloud. You know the outside world exists, but it has been rendered entirely irrelevant for this quiet stretch of the night. Think of the obligations and minor worries that were chasing you earlier today. Where are they now? They are outside the glass, being gently washed away by the persistent water. They cannot enter this quiet space. They cannot survive the softness of the sound. This cabin of comfort is yours, built from silence, warmth, and the steady, protective sound of the rain. It is a place where you are allowed to be heavy, to be slow, and to be entirely at rest, without explanation or effort. You are simply watching the current of the world flow harmlessly above you. Feel your weight sink deeper into this certainty. You are safe, you are separated, and all that exists for you right now is the deep, peaceful hum of the water on the glass, a lullaby whispered by the weather itself. The quiet. Philosophy of water. We are reaching the deepest, quietest part of the night, my friend. The rain has found its most steady, continuous voice, a long, even hush that seems less like a sound and more like the texture of the air itself. In these final, fading moments of wakefulness, let's reflect gently on the source of this magnificent calm, the water itself. Water holds a quiet, profound wisdom, doesn't it? It is always patient, always seeking the path of least resistance, and always relentlessly persistent. Think of the journey of these droplets on the glass above. They started high up in the sky, maybe traveling hundreds of miles. Now they are here, merging with others, following the gentle slope of the ceiling, eventually making their way into the dark soil outside. It is a perfect, ceaseless cycle of movement and rest, of lifting up and settling down. The sound we are hearing is the sound of patience embodied. The water doesn't rush to hit the glass. It doesn't despair when it encounters friction. It simply flows, adapting its form to the surface it touches. It reminds us that there is immense, quiet power in simply being and yielding, rather than fighting or forcing. Allow your mind to adopt this philosophy now. You don't need to force sleep. You just need to yield to the moment, letting your thoughts merge and flow softly, like the rivulets above you. Let the persistence of the sound teach you the power of non-action. The water does its work whether you are awake or asleep, and you, too, are supported by this steady, natural world. In this deep, dark library, surrounded by the silence of sleeping stories, beneath the gentle flow of the glass ocean, we have been granted a profound, simple truth. Everything in life eventually softens. Everything finds its way back to a slow, steady rhythm. The world outside is being washed clean, and in the quiet reflection of the glass, our own internal landscape is finding that same clarity and calm. The sound is now a vast, comforting presence, a deep, continuous drone that tucks you in completely. It is the sound of deep rest, of protection, and of simple, enduring peace. There is nothing left to hold on to now, just the warmth, the darkness, and the steady, simple truth whispered by the water. Rest now. It is time to let go. Sink completely now into the deepest, softest comfort the night can offer. Sleep well, my friend.